podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the GenXtra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the GenXtra Podcast. Welcome, everybody. Breeze.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back to you as well. It's good to be sitting back in front of the mics. It's been a long week/weekend.
It's been a long weekend for me. I've had like 18 hours on the road the past, long road trips this past long weekend. So that's been good.
Yeah, we also did a little bit of drive, not quite that long, but we had to move some stuff down to Pittsburgh for Grace. She's moving back to college. She's going, sucks, but tis what it is.
It does suck. The semester starts again, so back to the Berg.
Yeah, but she's excited. She doesn't quite love the country life like we do. But I
turned into a city girl.
Yeah, it is my fear. Like I've always secretly hoped that she would hate it. Just like I just want to be home in the country, but no, she likes it.
I get that. Well, I'm a city boy though, so I kind of get that.
You're not helping.
I'm sorry.
You should be like, the city sucks.
You should not be looking. You should not be looking to me for help for anything, basically. Unless it's breaking boards or chopping things in half, I'm not helpful. There we go.
Yeah. So have you been watching any of the Olympics?
Oh, I have. So right before this show, right before we're recording here, I did finish up watching the recap because I've been traveling the past 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I will get into that in a bit, but we did just watch the recap of the Olympic swimming. So watching Ledecky complete her most winningest, I hate that word, but female swimmer. So she won the gold, and it's amazing to watch. The Olympic swimming is crazy. It's just amazing to watch them in the water, and they have so many good camera angles. Like they've got the fly line cams that are, zip lining across the pool, and they've got underwater cams. But like these people, these swimmers, these women, they're not like splashing and swimming. They're like the aqua dynamics. They're like torpedoes. Like they don't necessarily like have a splash. They literally like have a wake, like a speedboat behind them. It's just this perfect triangle of water, and they swim faster than most people can run, and so that's amazing to watch. And then we watched Simone Biles become the most medaled gymnastic Olympian in U.S. history.
Yeah, I feel like everybody is like really kind of fixated on her.
She definitely has
to be expected
story.
Yeah,
she has a compelling story. She has a great
I'm not saying it wasn't
narrative.
Justified, but it almost kind of makes you feel bad for some of the other like athletes there.
Because, like Stuni Lee, her teammate Stuni Lee, who is like has twice over like a kidney disease or something along those lines, and took the bronze in the all around, and is a fantastic athlete.
And I'm pretty sure she was being shoved out of the way by a cameraman so they get a better angle.
You talk about the cameraman. So my wife was doing. She's like, get the camera out of her face. She's literally shouting at the screen as we're watching it. It's like these people are they're people, right? B, like they've just done some of the hardest things that any person on this human earth has ever done. Get that gigantic camera out of their face. Like y'all have zoom lenses.
Yeah, back up. Yeah, back up. Why you gotta be rocking like a 16 mil? I mean, I get it. You don't tell the story, but god dang.
But really, I mean, they deserve 6 feet of space.
They do. Yeah, it's a bit much. But I'm sure. Do you think they actually have to like kind of train for that, or at least like prepare for it mentally, like as part of their Olympic training?
I would think that honestly, given the mental focus that they have, I would wonder if it even phases them.
I don't know if it phases them.
Well,
much.
Phases, yes, but like I don't know if they train for it specifically, but you figure out all the stuff they have to tune out. They're doing their routine. Well, but they're doing their routines to a huge stadium of how many thousands of people, and like they're doing their beam routine. But then someone else is doing their floor routine, and the floor routine is blaring the floor routine music while they're doing their beam routine.
Yeah, and there's cheers coming from that side. And like,
and you're getting like cheered. You might make a mistake, and someone else is cheering for another Olympian.
Yeah, it's gotta be weird to kind of learn how to tune that out. Yeah, it's weird.
I can't imagine. I can't Well, we'll never know, will we?
No, we won't. No,
no, we won't.
Yeah,
no, it's good. It's been good. How about you? You been enjoying the Olympics at all?
Yes, I have. Yeah, we have also been enjoying it quite a bit. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, I doubt there's not like dealing with the cameras 101. Like there's not like a class per se, but I'll bet you, like, during training as they get closer to the Olympics, they're probably like sliding in some comments, about.
Oh yeah.
Like, all right, like, remember, there's gonna be a lot of cameras on you. You got to focus. They're like not, they're kind of like indirectly train them. I had to think about it when I was watching it. I'm like, that's just so much.
Like, and you know what? Like, and honestly, the cameras on them so much, not on the floor, but when they're waiting for their scores.
Maybe they hire somebody like at the gym,
and they're staring at. Yeah, maybe they do. Yeah, the camera train. I mean, you're behind the camera.
Yeah.
I kind of want to ask you but like, I'm thinking, they're like, okay, don't pick your nose. Don't pick your nose. Like, what do you? I mean, you're behind the camera a lot. Do you have any, like? I don't know. You probably don't coach people. You deal with weddings. You're probably just having them enjoy the day.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm not
like giving coaching or anything.
Yeah, I'm not at Olympic events, but yeah, or at weddings.
Not yet. You never know. You might be videoing, the 2028 Summer Olympics, Dave. You don't know.
I doubt it. But anyway, but yeah, I'll just get a text like, I need you here at the Olympics. No, I think as a photographer, when you're capturing kind of like an event, like a wedding or something like that, you're kind of like, I don't know, you're in this like weird little space in your mind, and you're almost like, you kind of get lost because you're just kind of focusing on the moments. You're anticipating what's about to happen. So you have to almost like predict the future in a way. You're reading the situation. With gymnastics, you kind of get used to it because they're all kind of doing, similar things. Yeah. Like I think that they just get so lost in the moment. They understood the assignment. Like the guy, like the camera guy who got like tons of, praise for capturing the horrific moment when Trump got shot.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like a really epic picture for that moment for him. And, the cameraman didn't turn and run. He didn't put his camera in panic.
No, you understand the risk. Yeah. I guess if you know what you're in for.
Photographers are weird.
What you're in for. Apparently. You can say that you
shot,
are one.
Man. You gotta get that shot.
Meanwhile, I'm lucky I point the camera the right way. I mean, half the time I'm taking the picture in the wrong direction. So I get that for sure. But one thing I did find really interesting in this past week of Olympics is the fact that Canada, of all countries, is now facing scrutiny on cheating.
How are they
which
cheating?
I think apparently this is interesting because one, it's Canada, right? Like, so Canada has the national persona of the nice people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty much understood, right? Like that's the trope, right? Canadians are always just so nice. They'll do something and they'll do something nice and they'll apologize for it because they're Canadian. But apparently the Canadian soccer team has actually been docked 6 points. So you talk about your goals scored, your wins, your ties, your draws, your losses. It's all aggregated into points in the Olympic sport. You're yawning because I'm so boring.
No. I yawn. I didn't mean to. I'm yawning.
It's okay.
It was 9 o'clock at night on Sunday.
Say, for our listeners, because we've had travel this weekend, we're recording very, very late. But
yeah.
I'm just boring. I'm boring Dave with
no. That's just, I want to hear about the story. But
yes, check this out. This is awesome.
It's just how dedicated we are to the show.
Exactly. I learned this over the long weekend. So apparently Canada, or the Canadian coaches at least, flew camera drones over competing teams' practices and practice fields. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of shady.
It is kind of shady, and it's like double shady because it's Canada. Like, I realize it's shady anywhere, but it's like I did a double take because I'm like, wait, what, Canada? Like, I'm sorry, what? But they've been docked 6 points.
What country do you think where you would, like, you say like, oh, Canada? But like, what country would you be like, yeah, like figures, like
Russia?
Okay, I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, they're not the Olympics. Well, okay. I mean, let's be honest here. So, I mean, we are citizens of the U.S. So
Russians.
I think there's some bias, there's some predication that we have to be like, oh, Russians. But honestly, I'd be much more surprised. I'd be less surprised if it were the U.S. teams. No offense to our country, but like,
you bite your tongue, boy.
America. But I would just be a little bit, I'd be less surprised if it were that. I'd be less surprised if there are a lot of countries, but like Canada?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
The Canada, country. Man. But they, apparently they are. And, obviously the athletes are claiming they haven't seen the footage from those practices. But then again, if the coaches saw it, coaches they know what those other teams are doing, right? And that's why they were docked 6 points. They were docked 6 points.
That was the repercussion?
That is the repercussions. Canada deducted 6 points.
Oh, wait a minute.
From the Olympic standings.
Do they have to decide, like, as like the Olympic committee, how many?
The IOC. Yeah, the IOC determined that they were docked 6 points from the standings based on the cheating, based on the, not allegations, but the proof of cheating.
Yeah. So that just fell under
6 points in the standing. Yep.
That just fell under the blanket of cheating. There wasn't like a particular clause that like, well, if you use a drone to spy on your teammates, it's or your opponents, it's 6 points off.
As far as I can read, no. As far as I can read, it's like okay, you've been caught cheating. This is the repercussions. I'm sure a lot of it's discretionary. Like most of the IOC stuff, as far as I've read, is very much at the discretion of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. It's not. They don't have like really prescriptive things for specifics. Although I wouldn't be surprised if, like anything else, they now have like drone clauses in certain things.
They probably do. Who knows? But
they probably should. But like any litigation, like any
well, as technology changes,
technology is always going to outpace your rules, right? So how are you going to do that?
Did you
have? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a couple of things here about the Olympics as well. Did you see that some of the athletes are getting sick from swimming in the river?
No, wait. Are they from swimming in the Seine?
Yeah,
right. They're swimming in the Seine River.
They're getting
sick. Well, they supposedly did. I mean, I think the mayor of Paris actually swam in it for a promotional deal.
Yeah, she died. I'm kidding. Total joke. She is alive and well.
Did you hear the silence in my voice? I'm like, oh my! There was like a pregnant pause there. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, they'll come after us. Like, you cannot make jokes.
One died.
Nobody died.
No one died.
It was a joke. Yeah, but no, there are athletes that are actually getting sick. I guess there was one swimmer that was like vomiting on after they got done swimming, and I don't know if that's necessarily from the water or from the entire act of what they do. Like from, because if you're in like a 5K race or whatever, people stop and vomit, from just being that active. So I don't know if it's from the water, but there was somebody else, I guess, that got like some sort of a stomach infection. So I don't know. I mean, I feel bad.
And this is the triathlon too. This is part of the triathlon for the swimming in the Seine.
Yeah. There's no surprise this guy's probably throwing up. That's a lot, man. I couldn't even imagine. So they swim and then swim again, I think. And then they have to then jump on bicycles and then I think run, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that is it. And oh my gosh, here's a quote. I vomited 10 times after the race. Okay, so he claims it was the heat that got to him, so we can't entirely blame the river.
Right, the nasty river.
But it was postponed for a day over concerns over the water quality.
Yeah. Did you see they jump in the river and they swim down the river like with the current?
Yeah.
And then they have to swim back against the current.
Again, yeah, that's insane. And I guess there's a risk of like E. coli. The E. coli bacteria is the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Of swimming in that river. No, thank you. No, thank you. A couple episodes ago, which by the way, listen to a couple episodes ago, but we talked about, was it bog swimming or something like that? Crazy sports.
Oh yeah.
And there was like bog running or something. Again, you get the, what's in there, right? And you do have, there's a risk of E. coli in the River Seine in Paris. I mean, it's so for those who have never been in France or in Paris or anywhere else, I mean, big rivers, even the Mississippi, right? So they have an entire history. Now, Paris and European rivers, obviously, they've had industrialization feeding into them for a long time, right? As we all know, any body of water, can absorb whatever. So you get something that's old world as Paris, which is the Seine, or the River Thames in London. Goodness knows what they've absorbed. And so I think the concern is real, but oh my gosh, that's got to be brutal.
I wouldn't even want to swim in like the Allegheny or the Ohio, the Monongahela. No, none of those. Well,
okay, so now I'm living in the greater Cleveland area, right? As we all know, far northwest Pennsylvania, as we like to call it for the podcast.
Yeah.
But some of our listeners may not know, but there's, and I forget the year, but the Cuyahoga River and subsequently part of Lake Erie, where the Cuyahoga River, which bisects Cleveland, dumps into Lake Erie, caught fire.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was the 70s or the 80s. So, like, again, there's stuff in these rivers, right? And that's the big thing is Lake Erie caught fire. Well, that caught fire just outside of Cleveland because of the industrial pollution that was going through the Cuyahoga River. Do
most triathlons, do they always consist of like a natural body of water of some kind or a river?
That is a very good question. I actually don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. I don't know if maybe just the Seine River is just that disgusting that it's making, a lot of news, or if it's because it's like because they're actually swimming in a river. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, Belgium completely withdrew from the that was the country that completely withdrew from the Olympics
because they didn't want to swim in the river.
Yeah,
are you serious?
It was a Belgian. Yeah, it was a Belgian athlete that got sick. So they're
all pieced out.
Nope. They all were like, "Yep, F this shit, I'm out."
Yeah. You know what? My wife was telling me about one of the athletes was actually like subjecting himself to E. coli, like leading up to the Olympics to kind of like get his body used to it.
Like iocane powder. If you've watched Princess Bride.
I have not. I haven't watched that.
You what? Okay, we'll get into another episode. We're gonna pin this. We're gonna come back.
Yes, I have not watched the Princess Bride.
Okay,
in its entirety.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, so that he was working on building up an immunity.
Yeah.
To E. coli.
Yeah. And so on top of all of his other training, he had to get himself sick.
Oh my goodness!
Probably several times. Yeah, to try and build up an immunity to it. That's crazy. That shouldn't even have to be a thing.
It probably shouldn't. But then again, I mean, I know so my understanding as we've been talking, I've been skating very, very quickly. And my understanding usually is a natural body of water that they compete in for the triathlon, but
just cleaner ones.
Apparently, I mean, again, it's Paris. I mean, Paris is one of the oldest cities in the world, if you think about it in terms of like large cities. So
yeah, because they're probably European and you're pooping in the river. Sorry. That was bad.
Nope, that was great. I love it.
Sorry.
I love it. I'm gonna submit that for the best joke on the GenXtra podcast in the history of the. Are we at 300 episodes yet?
No, not even close.
That was fantastic.
God. Thanks, man.
Please keep them coming. Thank you so much, Dave. That was fantastic. So that's crazy. They're getting sick in the river. That's a shame, especially because I know Paris worked so hard.
They did. They tried, but
it's an ancient. It's almost would you consider an ancient river? And craziness. But okay, well, I hope that the Belgian Olympic team recovers. They probably made the right call in pulling out and saying nope, not going to do that.
Yep.
But that's nuts. That's nuts. Olympic news. Are there any other Olympic sports you and Carrie follow?
We watched the gymnastics stuff with Simone and stuff like that. But anyway, there was another thing I wanted to mention, and then we'll move on from the Olympics here. It was now, okay, I have to preface this by saying this came from my wife. I don't know if it was from the Olympics because I have seen videos of this before.
Okay.
So I don't know if she saw like a meme or something that someone just made that wasn't actually from the Olympics. But what she told me was that one of the high jumpers, or not the high jumper, the pole vaulters, they were about to break a record. This guy or win a medal or something, and this dude went over. He was over the top of it and caught his wang on the bar, and the bar fell over. Like, did you see this? Is this real? Are you looking it up?
You can hear me. You can see. You can sense me. You can sense me checking.
Yeah.
One day ago, TMZ reports that pole vaulter's bulge.
Yes.
Flips the thing. Okay. Pole vaulter is walking away empty-handed because his pole malfunctioned. Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh.
Boo.
Boo. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was from TMZ. Okay, so Dateline, this looks like one day ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, August 3rd. Anthony Amariti. Amarati. I'm sorry. Prominent French pole vaulter, had his first heat Sunday morning, expected to flip over the bar, land in the final, ended up catching his smaller vaulting pole on the crossbar. I'm reading this from TMZ. Please don't blame me for this.
Anthony Amashower.
Yes. Okay. Amashower, not a great yes. All right. Sorry. Anthony goes up just fine. When he's coming back down, he ends up knocking the bar down with his impressive bulge. Again, thank you, TMZ.
They said impressive?
Comes down. They did. Quote, comes down, ends up knocking the bar down with his impressive bulge.
That's such a great
down
story.
Comes the bar. Wait. Here we go. It gets better.
Okay.
Again, I'm quoting. Because of the penis push.
Oh my! What? That's what it's called.
That is what TMZ. Thank you, TMZ. Amarati couldn't clear the 5.7 meters, which would have been enough to put him in the next heat and send him one step closer to competing for an Olympic medal. So this is a qualifier rounds.
Okay.
But yes. Yep.
Well, there you go.
So,
there you have it.
Here we go. Closing the article. Size really did matter here.
Wow. Well, good for him. Yeah. Good for him. Good for his girlfriend, apparently.
Good for his partner.
Yes. Bad for the Olympics.
So, no, I think this is true. Okay. Yeah. He failed his 5.7 mark height because of, quote, his asset. Nice. All right. Yes. That is. Thank you. Thank you to Carrie for contributing this amazing story.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, they should
not
do
for
something
him.
about
I mean, I
that.
guess if you're gonna let's be honest here. If you're gonna fail the Olympics,
they should. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the way to do it. I mean, he's probably proud of it though. You know, so he's not afraid to tell anybody why he failed.
I think it's the embodiment of sorry, not sorry. Like, Yeah, I think they should. I think pole vaulters should have to like Buffalo Bill it, like as they're running down the track. Would you? Sorry. I almost spit on my water on that one. For those of you who haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, please go watch that now to get that reference.
Yeah. Or Lois Einhorn, Ray Finkel it.
Oh, Ray Finkel and Einhorn. Yes.
There you go.
Probably more of our Gen Xers are getting the Finkel and Einhorn joke.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Story. Finkel
Einhorn's a man. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So moving on, Breeze. Moving on.
So what else have you? We talked a little bit about what I did. I took like 18 hours in the car over the past like 5 days. What have you done in the recent history there, Dave?
I won't get too deep into it because I mean, it was a concert. We went to see who was all there. It was Steve Miller Band, and Journey, and Def Leppard.
Oh, you saw? Okay. You say, it wasn't a big deal. Like those are Journey and Def Leppard are, in my book, really awesome. How was that in concert?
It was pretty awesome, actually. I'm not a huge Def Leppard fan. Like I know a few of their songs, but I don't go deep into their catalog to know like every song they're about to do at a concert.
Neither do I. Not deep into it, but I do appreciate them as a band.
Now, Journey, like we knew all their songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even Steve Miller, we knew probably 90% of all their songs. So Def Leppard, unfortunately, wasn't the highlight for us as we were, as concert goers. We were really excited for Journey, and they did a really good job. Steve Miller was great. Now, great, like everyone's there is old, like they're all old, and I think the guy from Steve Miller's like 70. I think the lead singer.
Okay.
So yeah, he's up there. No, I'm sorry. I believe he's 80. I think he's 80 years old.
Kudos.
Yeah, because I may have made a joke when we were there, and some may find it funny, some may not. So I don't know if I should say it or not.
Go for it.
Okay, so somebody said to me, they're like he's 80, and I just turned and I said, "So's Joe Biden." It's as political as we get. I had to make the joke.
I admittedly had the crickets button on the beat dial on that one. Oh yes, he is. He is absolutely 81.
Yeah,
in fact. Yeah, or no, he's almost 81. She's turning 81 this October.
There you go. I just thought it was funny just because of all the stuff lately with him, and then I was like, this dude's on stage singing songs. I'm like, it's a funny comparison. But anyway,
but it's amazing. Like, I mean, it is impressive to be like. I personally, I don't plan to work that hard when I'm 80 years old.
No,
like I don't.
No, dude.
I have no intention of doing anything of that level, especially being up on stage.
God, no.
That's crazy. No, I love this snippet that I'm reading here. The Steve Miller Band, active for over 50 years, and its founder, Steve Miller. I kind of guessed that. Like, yeah, I assume Steve Miller was the founder of the Steve Miller Band. Thank you very much, Wikipedia.
Makes sense. Yeah,
appreciate that. Yep, it does track. Mm-hmm. So 80 years old in October 2023, and he'll be 81. But that's admirable. To be fair, like that's something. When I see bands and specific performers that are that old, I'm like, you truly love what you do.
Well, it's sad because like a lot of the bands that even we listened to growing up, I wouldn't say like I was a big Steve Miller, like that was more like my dad's like generation of music.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I still listen to them. I still know who they are and I know their songs. But like even our bands like Metallica and even like Green Day, like they're all getting old now. Like it's kind of weird.
They are.
As are we, I suppose.
We are. That comes with it as well. Unfortunately, yeah. We were talking about Green Day. I was talking about Green Day recently because Minority came on my Spotify list, and I was just like, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like oldies music.
Yeah.
To our kids, like this is what we used to listen to. Like this is going to be in the oldies station. Not that anyone listens to stations anymore.
I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" in the grocery, like in like a Giant Eagle recently,
and it's an oldie song.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, they're playing some Nirvana. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Oh, and it's oldies. All right, All right. Your favorite Journey song, go.
I probably "Don't Stop Believing." I love that song, dude. It's just such a great song.
Me too. That's my number one. I'm with you on that 100%. I was just curious where you come in on
That's
that
actually
one.
What they ended their what they ended their set with.
The finale with "Don't Say." Yeah, I almost. How can you not?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's
the little Filipino lead singer. He did great, dude. He was really good.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, great. Okay, let me say he was really good. When you don't have Steve Perry and
Steve Perry,
yeah, and he is your next best option, like I'll take it. Like he did a great job because he sounds a lot like him, and it's acceptable.
Can you imagine the pressure?
Oh, I know. It's gotta be.
Like let's just take a moment there to appreciate what that has to be like in your lifetime to be like, hey, we're gonna have you replace Steve Perry of Journey, and you're like, I'm sorry, what?
Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? So bravo. I'm glad he kicked it because that's great. I mean, I'm sure he worked his butt off to get that far in his musical career to be even considered.
Yeah, and he is really good. It's odd to see. I'll say that, like as a visual, it's a bit. It's probably strange.
A bit disjointed. Yeah,
it is, but it was fine. Yeah. I accepted it. The only like during some of the songs, because English is not his first language, you can tell. Like I think he's still just saying things sort of phonetically. He's not really like. I don't think he. Maybe he does. Maybe I don't know, but like maybe he doesn't understand all the lyrics. Like all the words. I don't know. I'm not trying to like sound mean.
I get that. So I'll share a little bit of an anecdote here. Mm-hmm. So when I visited, this would have been, oh my gosh, this would have been like, a little over 10 years ago, maybe more. visited Paris with my wife, and we were in Paris, and we were eating just at a restaurant. And you have a singer and usually a guitarist with the singer for the environment there. And you talk about not first language and singing phonetically. Yes, this singer was singing beautifully, but she was singing songs that were in English, and which is impressive because she was clearly not an Anglophone, somebody who spoke English, competently. But she was singing beautifully and singing the English words beautifully. But there is a disconnect. It's a little bit like what they call the uncanny valley when you talk about like CG, and what's real and what's not. So it's almost like the uncanny valley of singing. And so I definitely understand what you're saying, where it's like, okay, you're singing the words perfectly, but there's a bit of a disjoint in terms of you don't fully understand what those are meaning, and you could say it, but you don't necessarily mean it. And a personal anecdote is when I was traveling with some coworkers who were from Hungary, and they would swear in English. And it was hilarious to me. Like, and they'd swear, and I'll keep it clean, but they would say, the S word and the F word and whatever constantly. But to them, it didn't mean anything, right? Because it was almost phonetic. It wasn't their native tongue. And they would get so fascinated that we find it so funny. And I'm like, well, okay, flip the tables. Tell me how to say something.
Right. Did they laugh when you tried to say it?
Oh, they lost their mind. They're like, we'll say basush, and I would say basush, and like 6 of them almost fell to their knees and collapsed and died because it just sounds funnier when it's not in your native tongue. And they did. And so, sopash and basush. And so if anyone who speaks Hungarian on our listener base, those are really profane.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? But it's not English, so we won't get the explicit tag on Spotify, so we're good.
There you go.
But yes, I do know how to swear in Hungarian because of my fellow Hungarian coworkers. But it's always funnier when it comes in someone's language. And so I get that point where it's like, okay, he may not. Is it what, Amel Pineda?
Sure.
Is that his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's the lead singer of Journey now. And so kudos. But he's not going to have that same feeling because he doesn't quite. It's not his native tongue.
Yeah. And I'll end this concert talk with Def Leppard was pretty good. No, Def Leppard put on a kick-ass show. They really did.
I like Def Leppard. I'm just not like, you're right, I'm not deep into their catalog the same way I am with like Journey.
No,
I would love Journey. That would be great.
Yeah, but no, they put on a great show. It was quite the spectacle.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, but I just like every song come on, I'm like, I don't believe I know this one. Like there was a couple.
No, I know.
Like, hey, I know this one.
I saw Foreigner like 6 years ago in Erie. They came to do First Night Erie for New Year's Eve in Erie, Pennsylvania. Maybe 6, maybe further. But it was great to see. But it's like, oh, you're old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're got to be way up there too.
It's like, but I love Foreigner. I love Foreigner's catalog of songs. They're fantastic. I really candidly hope I don't have to work that late into my career.
No doubt.
I hope I don't have to be 81 years old and getting up there on a stage with a microphone and singing like my greatest hits.
One more thing about working late into your career. We actually had tickets to go see Aerosmith for their farewell something tour, they're calling it, but they're retired.
Isn't this like the 6th farewell tour?
Maybe, but they were going to officially retire.
Okay,
and they had to initially postpone the concerts or the tour because Steven Tyler was having like vocal cord issues. Oh, and they pushed it back like 4 or 6 months or something to let him heal up. And so all the tickets went for resale again, and we got tickets. And I think it was yesterday, the email went out that they officially canceled the tour.
Oh, no.
But not only canceled the tour, they have officially retired. So Aerosmith fans out there, if you haven't seen them in concert, you will never see them in concert. They are done. So I guess...
I liked Aerosmith.
Dude, I was looking so forward to seeing them too. Like
that would have been a pretty fun performance. Even given their age, they have a great catalog of music.
Yeah. Actually,
that's
their song from Armageddon, "Don't Want to Miss a Thing."
Oh yeah,
that song holds it.
Defined
take it away, Breeze.
Yeah, no.
No, like that song holds a special place in our heart. Yes.
Yes. Don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe.
Oh, yeah, babe.
Don't want to miss a day.
Give me chills.
All right,
man.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to edit that out.
Oh, no. That's staying in there.
Well, and wasn't Liv Tyler in Armageddon? Like, wasn't Steve Tyler's daughter?
Yeah.
In Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And dating Ben Affleck?
Yeah, she was seeing Ben Affleck in the movie.
In the movie. Not in real life.
Yeah, secretly. Yes, and her dad, Harry Stamper, a.k.a. Bruce Willis, was very upset.
Bruce Willis? the man, the myth, the legend. Yes. Bruce Willis.
Anyway, yeah, so they're officially retired. Boo-hoo. Moving on.
All right, well, okay, moving on.
Yeah, so, Breeze, tell me about your trip. What did you do this weekend? You had a long journey. Right. No puns.
I did have a long journey.
Sorry.
Oh, journey. Yes. No, so my family and I drove out to a town called Kingston, New York, which is about an hour-ish outside of New York City proper. So my in-laws, my siblings-in-law moved outside of New York. They used to live in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. They now moved out to little town called Kingston, New York, which is closer to like the Catskills and like Woodstock.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's like the Woodstock area where Woodstock was held.
Right.
So first of all, the one downside is everything, because it's like Woodstock and the Catskills, it's really expensive. It's not to say that my in-laws are bougie, because they work there. They live there, they work there, but they're not tourists there. But because there is a huge tourist traffic, like the wine, when you go to wine in the restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, should be like $30 to $50, maybe $60.
For what?
Maybe
$70 for a bottle?
For a bottle at a restaurant.
Okay, I've never done that.
But
so
they're always okay. All right. Well, how much is okay? Well, whatever. So
you're not like glass. I mean, it's like $8 or $10 for a glass, something like that, right?
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So their glasses are like $15 to $18 a glass.
Okay, almost like concert
and
pricing.
Their bottles are like 68 plus.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot for a bottle of wine. That's a lot. So yeah, that's the one thing that I will say about the area. But it was great. I got to see my family, or my wife's family out there, whom I love dearly. But the coolest thing I would say is that my wife's sibling, Clay, works at a neon sign factory.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Right? So we visited them, and they're like, oh, come on, like have a tour. And they took me through. And it's interesting because I experienced this, and I'm like, I never have thought about how you make a neon sign. Like they all kind of take, and when we're talking neon signs, I'm talking about like that curved metal or the curved glass, right? That's filled with the neon. But you really think about how much goes into those signs. I hadn't prior to this, but it's actually really, really cool. So this shop specifically like specializes in a lot of they cater to a lot of artists. Like a lot of like artists will specialize in like big neon art displays. Mm-hmm. For their art galleries, but they also do other neon signs. It's really cool. And they took us through.
Did they show you how like they heat them up and bend them and stuff?
Yes, exactly. So there's the whole, and they had like 5 distinct rooms for one for everything. Like one is where like they just take in, it's the design room, right? It's all sketches and plotter printers, huge printers and CAD design, like how they design all these things. Like, oh yeah, I want a sign that says this in like a script font, like, GenXtra Podcast.
Right. Ooh.
Right.
Can you get us a discount?
I will try. I should.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. I'll call Clay tomorrow and I'll be like, Clay, get us a discount.
We need this.
We need this right now. We need a GenXtra Podcast neon sign to put somewhere.
Somewhere. Don't know where, but it's going somewhere.
But some of them are huge. I'll get into that in a minute. So yes, there's the drawing and draft and design office, and then you move into the actual bending office, right? And so they source their glass. They don't blow the glass directly, right, but they get these glass tubes of various colors, and they heat them and they bend them. And then there's like this whole dipping process, which I never thought about, right? Because you get like the parts of the sign that aren't visible.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing scripted words, not all of it's visible. So they dip them. They have to hand dip them in like a black coating, so the neon light doesn't come through.
Oh, that makes sense. At least okay.
I never thought about it, right? Yeah. And I guess there's like a white dip, which would do like a semi-transparent.
Right.
And then there's an entire, they literally have almost larger than like the glass bending in the dipping shop is the wood shop. And this was what I found most fascinating is they have an entire like wood shop that's larger than that because it's all the custom casing.
Right. How do you mount all the glass to? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. No, how do you package them all up, right?
Oh.
You've done all the stuff. How do you ship them out? Because they ship they ship across the country, across the world.
Wow. So they're part of that process or the expense for the customer is probably a lot in packaging to get it from point A to point B without breaking.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that my sibling Clay is really big on is they're kind of focused right now on cutting and forming custom packaging. Like, how do you fit this stuff? And so part of the design process is actually not just how you make it, but how do you pack it into like a wood-based crate because it can't break, right?
Yeah.
It's all neon tubes. It's fantastic to watch. And they actually are building something called right now building something called it's an artist installation called the Hell House. So it's all like infernal kind of thing. But this house, this quote unquote house, right, is like a single, what you call, like an awninged, steeple roofed house. But it's huge. Like one of the windows is like 8 feet tall. And it's got like big flames. It's all neon lights, right? This is all, imagine like flames curved in neon lights.
Yeah.
In terms of a standard window frame, but like multiply it by 1.5. And so they're all huge and they're making like multiple 4 or 5 of these windows.
That's crazy.
And then the rest of the house appears to be on fire. It's all an art exhibit that they're commissioned to do. It takes up their entire shipping warehouse. It's insane.
I wonder if they have like contracts in like Atlantic City and like Vegas and like people ordering neon lights for everything.
I started to wonder, but ever since I saw that tour, and that was on Thursday when we drove in, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm seeing these neon signs around Kingston, New York and other parts of upstate New York. And I'm like,
he probably made that.
Yeah. Did Lightbright Studios is the name, but name drop. But it's called Lightbright. I love that name.
That's
it's just
cool.
like, it harkens back to the GenXtra, right? Like the Lightbright stuff. Yeah. So it's Lightbright and they do all this neon. I'm like, oh, how many of these signs are from Lightbright? Like how many of these signs was my sibling-in-law engaged in to build these out? It's really cool. It's really cool. It's an interesting like pull back the curtain like Wizard of Oz kind of experience. Like you don't think that what goes into a neon sign, and now I'm looking at neon signs. I'm like, this is fantastic. Like it's so cool. It's so much effort, but I thought it was fascinating. It was really cool.
That probably goes for a lot of things, honestly. Like things you just I guess take for granted, like that you look at every day. Like what goes into building everything that you look at. It's probably quite a lot, honestly. Yeah, so
it is.
So for you to get that eye-opening experience to understand what goes into making a neon sign, it's pretty cool.
So I will message. I'll see if maybe we can get a GenXtra, maybe even like an on-air, like a custom on-the-air neon sign, or maybe GenXtra. We should get a GenXtra one. I think.
Yeah, I think GenXtra would be cooler.
GenXtra podcast in neon black and green. I love that. Yeah. Let's do that.
Huge.
Let's do that. But gigantic. Oh, but some of these, oh my gosh, they're massive.
Only 8 foot by 16 foot.
Larger. Oh my gosh, some of them are huge. They're like 12 to 15 feet long.
Wow.
They're insane. Yeah, they build metal frames for them and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we didn't stay at their place because they have a small.
Where'd you stay, Breeze?
I stayed for the first time at an Airbnb.
And how'd you like it? Airbnbs are they're cool, but they're weird.
So have you? Have you stayed in an Airbnb, Dave?
Oh, multiple times. Yeah.
Okay, so you're probably more conversant than I am. I was. This is my first time, at least solo with my family. I've actually joined Airbnbs with friends before. It's been fine. Whatever. Like you get stuff, but first of all, I should preface this one was fine. There were no catastrophic issues, so it's not going to be incredibly tantalizing.
I mean, okay.
This was
So
go ahead.
With Airbnbs for me, it's like it's not the. It feels like someone's house, like, and it's kind of weird because it is someone's house. Like
it is. Well, it's okay. So this clearly was not. This was much more of a verbo. Like this was clearly converted. This was bought. It was built. Actually, so it's funny because it was a duplex, right? So there was an upper unit and a lower unit. So my kid looked it up because he suspected the lower unit was also a rental. Interestingly, their lower rental at this particular domicile was a verbo, and the upper one was an Airbnb. I'm like, okay, interesting.
It is interesting.
I'm kind of curious about that. Oh. Like, you list, are you trying to corner the market, hedge your bets, whatever?
Right.
This was one of the, it was so gaudy. It was so gaudy. So it was called the Rose Stay, as in the flower.
Okay.
Everything in the place, it was clearly flipped, right? It was clearly bought and flipped and renovated at low cost to be an Airbnb.
Oh yeah, man.
Clear. Oh yeah, we're running into those. I'm sure none of our listeners would be surprised by this. All of the walls were either white, black, or red.
Ew.
It was very stark. Like,
that would feel weird, yeah.
And it does. And the curtains, not the walls, but also the curtains, white, black. Everything was white, black, or red.
Why does it have to be themed like that? Just make a nice cozy house, like somewhere to stay.
It was not. I don't know. It was a little uncanny. My wife and I were like, I feel like I'm going to break something in here. Like, I don't necessarily know that I care.
Which one of you didn't look at the pictures online? Certainly.
Oh no, we both looked at them, but it was really low cost, and it was literally within walking distance of.
Oh, so you accepted place. It. You're like, all right, whatever. Like,
oh yeah, no, oh yeah, and it had 3 bedrooms, which means each of the kids, and then we got to sleep. No, it met all the criteria, and it was clean. Mm-hmm. It was fine. It was no concerns. Like, bottom line, but the aesthetic was insane, and I guess the one below us was called the Royal Stay.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah, well, no, my kid researched it, and he was like, oh, it's all like blue and gold, and I'm like, that actually sounds worse.
Yeah,
like they did like a royal blue and a solid gold, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's insane. So it was in Kingston, New York, and it was my first stay in a B&B. It was fine. It was clean. It was fun, but there were some weird things, like the shower. Right, I went to turn on the shower. It felt like I was actually going to pull the faucet, like, you know, where you turn the shower knob from off to cold to hot.
Yeah.
Right. You have that handle knob.
Mm-hmm.
That was caulked so poorly into the wall that when I turned it, I thought I was actually going to remove it from the wall.
Well, like the caulk was only holding it on there.
Correct. And that was it. And it felt like it was made of, like, you remember rubber cement when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah.
You played a lot of work. That's what it felt like.
Okay.
I turned that knob and I'm like, I'm going to rip this thing out of the wall.
Yeah.
And they're going to charge me for it. And I'm not okay with that. That's not okay.
Now, I'll have to ask you, because when the first time we ever stayed in an Airbnb, actually my daughter and I both did this and didn't realize that either one of us did it until we left.
Oh.
We were both snooping around the house for hidden cameras.
Oh, so
did you think about
you
that?
Mentioned that? Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I checked.
Were you like looking in the shower head and stuff?
I did. Yeah. So here's what really threw me. So they spent all this time. They didn't, like, there were literally like anchor holes, like screw holes in the wall where, like, clearly the toilet paper dispenser had fallen off.
You were looking in them, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
But the problem was I walked into the bathroom and they had this weird, like, high-tech ceiling fan, light, whatever. And it was like a multi-panel display. So you could turn on the fan, you could turn on the dome light, whatever, with like a touch panel in the outlet instead of a normal up-down switch.
Right.
And I walked in the room and there was a voice like, settings not acquired. And I'm like, what?
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah. So I totally Googled, like, I looked at the manufacturer of it, and I'm like, okay, no, this is legit. It's okay. But I did read an article, and I don't remember what it was on. It was like New York Times or something, on like how to spot hidden cameras in Airbnbs. And I did. And I guess using a flashlight, because they'll bounce back anything off of lens. Mm-hmm. And so I did. Now, this place didn't have central air, because I guess vents, like central air vents and other ventilation, are the easiest place to put those. So fortunately, this place didn't have central air, so there were no vents to check. But I totally did shine my flashlight in some of these crevices to see if there was light bouncing back from like a camera lens, because I'm like, I had read this article and I got paranoid, and I'm like,
you just have to know. You have to snoop around.
I need to know And like, let's be honest, ain't nobody gonna want to see this online. So let's just check this out and make sure there's no spy cams on it, because it is terrifying.
It is terrifying because you're in somebody's house that can do whatever they want to, and then just rent it out to people that stop in for a day or two.
It's absolutely terrifying. And I'm glad you said it, because I totally did that. I
knew you did.
And I didn't tell my wife because I didn't want to be paranoid.
Yeah.
She won't listen to this podcast, but hopefully, but I did, I checked and I'm like, oh, I guess you can get like infrared sensors, like either on your phone or attached to your phone, or separate infrared sensors to like check for that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. Oh, so scary. But this is my first Airbnb. It was okay. It was fine. No problems so far. I haven't ended up on the internet yet. I'm okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well, it won't be your last time snooping for hidden cameras.
Oh no, now I'm going to do it forever.
Oh,
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like you want to like if you watch movies about about Airbnbs or places to rent out, wherever they are, and the movie's based around hidden camera, stuff like that. They like in the movie, they'll show you like an outlet, a receptacle that has like a hidden camera in it, or, like something like a shower head, or it's like in like behind a picture frame or something weird like that.
Yeah. So what I read was the most common places are air ducts and smoke detectors.
Yeah. The smoke detector ones. Yeah. I've seen that in movies. So yeah, like
apparently that's based in somewhat reality. So
that's what I'm saying. I think the movies kind of lead you into where they might actually be.
Yeah, well, movies. I mean, but like I will say that there is actual research around that. Is that it's usually smoke detectors or air vents. So for our listeners who are staying at one of these rental properties, check the air vents, check the smoke detectors if you're concerned about that.
Yeah, take them off and take a look-see. See if there's some extra electronics in there.
Yeah, that's not okay. But no, I think we're in the clear. But it was still ugly AF. Let me just say that but it was clean. It was fine.
Did anybody make the joke? Did anybody make the joke when you were there? Like, what's black and white and red all over?
No, but I'm totally gonna tell my kid that when he wakes up in the morning, because we're doing this late at night. Oh my gosh, with black and white and red all over our Airbnb.
Dad joke of the day.
That was the second best joke. Second best joke of this podcast. Thank you very much for that.
There you
go. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, I think we did it this episode, man. Let's call it.
We did.
Let's call it. It's late. It's almost 10 o'clock at night.
It is.
Yes. Just goes to show you our dedication to making entertainment for all of you. There you go.
We love you all. We love you all.
Yeah. So thank you guys all for tuning in for another one, and we'll see you next Monday.
See ya.